I've had bouts of suicide. I've had 2 suicide attempts, and I was on the verge of that again. Had struggled, had had a period of sobriety, had went back out, had done some drugs, and was mainly drinking at the time, and was in a real bad spot emotionally. My plan at the time had been, I had just gotten paid. I was going to get a hotel room, go buy a bunch of drugs, and get a bunch of alcohol. I planned to go to Walmart, buy coolers, and was just going to go camp out in a hotel room until I was done. And whether that meant being dead or just done.
I turned 21 and it really went downhill because I felt like it was, okay to drink as much as I wanted since I was 21.
I was raised in with drugs, everything around me was drug related. So I had no clue on this other lifestyle.
It got to the point where my life was just miserable. I couldn't control my using, I couldn't control my drinking. I couldn't hold a job. I didn't have any real friends at all. It got to the point where I was homeless.
God presented to me 3 different times that you might have a problem. I got a DUI. He was knocking, saying, hey, you might want to look at this. I got this covered. Second time I had a friend stay over that was an alcoholic. I didn't realize it at the time, and I watched him drink a half a gallon of vodka within about 15 minutes. That made me look at myself because I was not quite a half gallon drinker yet, but I was on my way. And the third was having my second husband not show up for a weekend and ransacking his apartment to find his AA material. And that's when it clicked, was I know why I like you so much, because we are exactly alike. You happen to be an alcoholic, and I am too.
I just said a quick prayer in my head, just please help. And for some reason, I had a key to the AA group I used to go to, and I just went there at like 6 o'clock in the morning and opened the door up and went and camped out till the 8:30 meeting. And just so happened that there was some guys from the Oxford House there at that meeting, and I knew that they were involved in Oxford House. I'd heard about Oxford House, and just gave me the opportunity. I don't know, it was just a God thing.
Recovery is forgetting what you lost as a result of your addiction and focusing on what you will gain as a result of your recovery.
The Oxford House is a concept based on maintaining self-help recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. Since 1975, the Oxford House has given addicts and alcoholics the support and recovery environment that helps them maintain sobriety without relapse.
When I got out of prison, I knew I wanted something different with my life. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to get it. Having my first child really changed my life. It really made me realize there's something more to life than what I've been doing my whole life. The drugs, the selling drugs and making drugs, and I knew there was something more to it. I knew my daughter was worth more than me being who I was. And the way I found out about Oxford House was after reintegration and treatment, I had to move on, and I wanted to go home, but then I knew home wasn't good for me.
The gentleman suggested, have you heard of Oxford House? I don't have any idea. What's that about? Well, it's a group living situation with, anywhere between 6 and 10 other women. I thought, no way do I want to be a part of a bunch of women living together in a house. Absolutely not.
Being around a bunch of recovering people gave me an opportunity to live recovery 24 hours a day. Oxford House gave me the opportunity to have a group of friends that were sober, people that I could hang out with outside of meetings, people that I could come to with situations instead of having that draw to go back to the same people.
I was looking for people who were like-minded, people who knew what it was like to have a craving and what they did to overcome those. Because I could talk to anybody about my active addiction, and if you're not an addict, you would have no clue. You would have no clue whatsoever as to what I was talking about. The Oxford House provided that for me.
The Oxford House is about more than just providing a physical place to stay and recover. It also provides emotional support and accountability. So, what gives the Oxford House a higher success rate than other programs?
It works because we have very simple principles that we live by. In order to be in the house, you just have to stay clean and sober, pay your share of the bills, and not be disruptive. It's an environment where we have to be accountable and responsible for every single action inside that house. We're so used to using and taking when and where we want to as addicts and alcoholics that it creates an environment where you have to play nice with others. You have to learn to communicate.
People pay for the rent. There's basically no support that society has to give that house, so people can live in that house, give back to the community, stay sober without using drugs, and become a productive member of society at basically no cost to society.
Oxford House is different from any other recovery concept because it's a democratically run drug-free home. What makes this even more unique is that there are no outside influences on the governing body inside the house. In other words, the house members are responsible for carrying out every function within the house.
With the rules that we have set in place with Oxford House, we run it like a business first. It has to be run by the rules, otherwise it doesn't work. Everyone has to stay clean and sober. Everyone has to pull their weight inside the house financially and cleaning-wise, and responsibilities as far as positions in the house: secretary, president, treasurer, comptroller. We have a shopper.
Being here gave me the opportunity to learn some of the basic skills that I didn't have when I was out there on my own, things that I never really thought of.
Each individual house holds weekly meetings that are a key part of the growth and support that occurs within each house.
Brings me down to $19.05, so request.
When I came into this house, they gave me the opportunity to be the comptroller of the house, which was keeping track of the rent. Later on, I moved into a treasurer. I'd had bank accounts all my life. I'd never ever once done a bank statement. We do a bank statement every month here.
Oxford House gave you an incentive to get those things done when you saw other people get them done. It was amazing.
That really helped me take, some leadership skills, because, I'd always been a follower in my whole life. I need to, just kind of control a meeting.
Living in a democratic setting, living in a setting where everyone shares decision-making, allows people to basically become more human, more tolerant, more what we potentially could be. And isn't that an American story?
The house doesn't magically run itself. It takes effort from everyone inside the house. Chore rotations are required of everyone living in Oxford House, from weekly household cleaning chores to the daily picking up after themselves. Everyone is expected to do their part equally and to the best of their ability.
Our chores, which you just don't think about chores. For a person who has a pretty good head on their shoulders, washing the dishes is a simple thing.
Eventually, over time, I see now that those rules are there for a reason, and the reasons they're there for. And now it's just like a part of how I'm living.
The advantage of those simple things is you look at them in a whole different light. You look at them totally different. It's just not making up my bed every morning. It's just not making up my bed. It's a time to reflect on everything that's being made up.
Never regretted a day that I walked into that house. So it has been the absolutely most amazing experience for self-development, for development with other women, for bonding and friendships, for self-discovery. It's been an amazing journey.
I can't go without my kids. They mean the world to me. And I can't have my kids if I'm out using. I just can't have both of those things.
I question why today, I won't ever get anywhere. I'll sit in turmoil over that one question. I'll analyze it to death and never get anything accomplished. Today I just have to, you know, this is the next thing in front of me. This is the next right thing to do.
If I could say thank you, the best way I would know how is to keep doing what I'm doing, is to continue to welcome the sad, lonely, broken women into this house like I was, to continue to stay clean and sober in my life one day at a time, to continue to reach out and do for others that they cannot do for themselves at that point in time.
From 23 hours of failure to 30 minutes of failure.
But I think the best thing that I can do for those that have loved me through this is to pass it on.